Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, Rogue Gambit, the man who just wants to win and get out of here.
It'll all be over by this time tomorrow.
Well, you've heard it here first, folks. We're going to be done with this podcast by tomorrow. No.
Or that.
So today we're going to be talking about Andor, She-Hulk.
Andor episode 5.
Yeah.
She-Hulk episode 8.
And
then we'll do a little our expectations for Werewolf by Night since it comes out in a week from...
Yep, and a little expectation on Tales of the Jedi as well, which I'm just going to say now so I don't forget. It comes out actually on October 26th.
Yeah, so we got a little time.
So we got a little time, but we could do expectations now.
Yep.
All right. Let's start this with...
She-Hulk. Let's get She-Hulk out of the way.
She-Hulk out of the way.
She-Hulk. Let's see. She-Hulk, episode 8.
It's She-Hulk.
It wasn't the worst episode. We'll go there.
Yeah, but it still wasn't the best.
So we'll get the first part out of the way because it was unimpressive in every aspect. Get on to the end because the end was the important part. Hated the start. The leapfrog.
Oh, I hated him.
I hate the whole legal, we have to, they just force everything, right? This whole, legal, we have to get She-Hulk representing this person against this other person. And then they just, rush so fast, she doesn't do any checking, nothing. She just all right, let's go talk to him. She's all nervous, goes, talks to him. If she was actually scared about, losing connection with what I don't even remember his name, then she would have been all right, well, let's check and see if anything you did was wrong. Right?
Yeah.
And that's her job as his lawyer. And instead, she doesn't double check anything and then just gets owned. And then
so dumb.
There's no consequences. It's just this guy is supposed to be his father's all important, but they never have any consequences for that. She's you have to represent him and do a good job, and then she fails, and then there's no repercussions at all.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, actually, I said we'll get into it later, so let's finish with the start here. It's the same way though with her tailor guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's I'm all mad at her, and then no repercussions for that. So the rest of it.
Yep.
Anything you want to say about the start before we get into the reveals and everything?
I just really hated every single part of that.
All right, so let's get into the reveal. So finally get Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. Thought?
I mean, I always like seeing this actor as Matt Murdock.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah. Just, I don't know if I really liked the way they did with him. And
so they didn't ruin him, thankfully.
Yeah, I to be honest, I haven't seen much of the Daredevil show. I've seen only maybe half of the first season, so I really need to watch it.
Yes, you did. I did not know that. I knew you hadn't seen all of it, but what? Get on that.
I know. Well, I'm sorry.
They don't ruin him, which is nice. Matt Murdock. Oh, first of all, Charlie Cox did a fantastic job. And the only legal law scene was when him and her were going back and forth.
Yeah,
it felt good. I wish the whole show was like that. He just did a fantastic job as always. His Matt Murdock, they did a lighter part. I liked the flow of his character, but I did not like how what they did so well in Daredevil was the fact that when he's Matt Murdock and when he's out there, he is blind. Yes, he still has a sense of whatnot, but he plays up the blindness as much as he can because he can't let people think that he could be Daredevil. And they got rid of that. And that was so unnecessary to the changes that they were making to his character. He could have been the exact same, except still playing that up, and it could have been even funnier, because I didn't find it funny at all. But it could actually have been funny. And they wouldn't have lost that charm of his character, and that's who he has to be. Now, on top of that, the problem I had, you can't just be a lawyer in 2 states. It just can't work.
I was wondering
it's not like you're a national lawyer. That doesn't happen. You be past the bar in your state. Sometimes, if they're large states, just like New York where he is, it's in your district. And you can represent people in your district outside that, or people outside of your district in your district, or in your state, depending on where you how you practice and stuff, but you cannot be a lawyer in New York and be representing somebody in California for something going on in California. You could be their lawyer and then maybe because he has this client in California, he's done what he needs to do to represent him in California. But like, that was frustrating. Like a lawyer doesn't even mention that. Like, it would have been perfectly fine for Jen to be like, how are you even lawyering here, you know?
Yeah, just
Anyways,
ask that question and then all this random stuff.
But that's aside from the point. That happens in shows, whatever. But that was my one problem with Daredevil being there. All right, Daredevil himself, what'd you think?
Well, I did like the fight scene with just him. That's all I'm saying. Just him in that hallway.
Yeah.
I did like that. I was a little confused at the beginning of it because I thought he dropped something on top of them, but
yeah,
clearly apparently he didn't. I was a little confused by that, but continue.
No, go ahead. I want you to finish. I'm going to go on a long spiel.
Yeah, you're going to go on a long rant, so I'm going to try and get everything out I want to say. But then I really hated with what they did. That could have been really awesome if it was just him fighting these guys. I understand it's a She-Hulk show, but like, we know what's coming when you do something like that with everybody who just pops in like that, and then they start all coming at once. Like, you know what's going to happen, especially with a She-Hulk outside waiting.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
All right. In the Daredevil show, I've talked about this on this podcast. The fight scenes are immaculate. They're works of art. They're gorgeous. Impeccable. Chris Bernstead is an insane stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
I did not look at the credits to see if he did the stunt work or any of the stunt stuff. But the first fight scene between She-Hulk and Daredevil was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
It was so bad. The movement, and this is why I cannot believe right now, without proof, that it was Chris Bernstead. Because I've seen every fight scene in Daredevil over and over, the ones he did and the ones he didn't do. And the way Daredevil moved, it was just cheap. That's all I can say. Like, the wire work was bad. The movement of the character himself
some of
was
it
bad.
Was actually all animated.
And the CGI, the groundbreaking.
That was terrible.
And him falling through it and flipping out was so bad. And it was so sad. And then on top of that, like, he didn't even fight like Daredevil fights in the comics. He didn't fight like Daredevil fights in the show. He fought like the characters have been fighting in this show. And I get that it's the Shield show and they have their budgets and whatnot. But like, you gotta do better fight scenes than that. It's the one part I really think they could completely ruin with Daredevil. Why? Because we know it's coming to Disney Plus. Yes, we know that there's DVMA stuff on Disney Plus now, including the Daredevil show. But if you're gonna take out the brutality of his fight scenes, I said earlier, like a couple months ago when it got announced, that's okay. But you can't take out the brutality and the beauty of it, right? If you are going to take out the brutality of it, then you still have to give that beauty, that the motion, the flow, the seamlessness in the fights. But if you're going to take out both of those, all you've got is bad fight scenes. Now, going to the fight scene where it's Daredevil in the hallway, it was done okay. Like you said, there were things you didn't know where they came from, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It looked like it could have been dropped. It could have been bounced off his baton, could have been dropped on him from the top, could have been bounced off the floor, could have come off the wall. But then the acting just terrible by those characters, right?
I agree.
They didn't look around. It's not like they were scared, unsure. It's like they look exactly where he's about to come in from.
Yeah.
That's just bad acting. It's either... We can obviously see that it came from that door, which is closed. Makes no sense. But we can see that, so they look there. But no, we couldn't tell where it comes, so they shouldn't know where it came from. And they should be freaking out looking around. And then Daredevil comes in. That's good act. That's well done. Suspense built up. Especially because we had just had this scene outside where Daredevil and She-Hulk are arguing. We actually don't know what She-Hulk's going to decide in that moment. Right?
Yeah.
Then they should have been scared. It could have come from anywhere. And we don't know what's going to happen. She-Hulk could have come in then, right? Dropped it on them. whatnot. But no, they leave no suspense for us. They look straight at the door. He comes through the door, attacks him, beats him up, and now we know exactly what's going to happen from that point on. We know a group's going to come, and She-Hulk's going to come and take care of him. From that, it's instead of building suspense, then him coming through, us being like, yes, Daredevil, and then you could do it the same way with She-Hulk coming in, but the suspense has already been built, so it's fine. Or, much, much, much better, give the fan their fan service, have him do it, She-Hulk come in, take out whoever else is left, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're both impressed with each other, instead of this like weird back and forth that just didn't make sense.
Yep.
Then she goes and like talks to him while Daredevil's just like beating up, but they kept cutting back and forth, and I had no idea what was going on in that fight scene. It's like, oh, we have such a low budget that we're just gonna have him go beat up some people and just like show clips of it here and there. That was so frustrating. And yeah,
take a deep breath.
That's the part that they did ruin with Daredevil. Like the fight scenes just did not feel like Daredevil. And then on top of that, is how the story ended with her. I get in the comics, yes, Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock had a thing. That's great. But that thing develops over time. Mm-hmm. There was no story there. Except that, like, apparently Jennifer Walters makes the same mistake over and over again. Mm-hmm. Like, how is that a story with your character? And why am I supposed to like this character who literally just meets dudes and then immediately wants to sleep with them? And then gets burned by them once, twice, and now does it again. And hopefully, we're all hoping, because Daredevil's a hero, this is going to work out for her. Right? No, we're not, because we don't care, because we just keep making the same mistake.
Yep.
Now, the very ending. What do you have to say about it?
I saw like everything, like I knew everything that was going to happen. They were going to put up all this information, which some of it, all the stuff up there, like it had no correlation to what was happening, what they were talking about. And not only that, I knew that she was going to get angry, see the guys that for some reason were there. That made no sense. I was so confused by that.
Yeah.
Like, why were they there if they were talking on the screen? They were like, I don't understand that.
All right. So, yeah. The ending twist. All right. I get they're trying to be self-aware, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us this twist is coming. So now that when the twist is terrible, we don't care because they already told us. Whoop-de-doo. First off, we all knew this guy's a scumbag from the start, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're just like, keep trying to set him up as a villain. Instead of just like, we know he's a scumbag. Mm-hmm. We know he's going to be the villain from the instant we saw him. Just tell us already. Figure out his motivations. Do that. But no, they're like trying to keep it this whole surprise thingy. Then, yeah, like you said, from the very start of this show, from episode 1, we knew at some point She-Hulk was going to go savage She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And that was going to be the thing that, like, turned the public against her, like all Hulks, right? But no, we're going to save that for this surprise twist right before the finale. It's like, with nothing building up to it since then. Yep. Nothing like that. In fact, and she's been flippant about everything, so it just makes no sense that suddenly this would get under her skin. And on top of that, we won't get into the ceremony. The ceremony was just garbage.
Yeah.
Then they're like, they hack this screen, right? It's showing all this stuff. She goes whole savage She-Hulk. When, like, all she needed to do was, like, cause the screen to turn off.
Yeah.
But no, she, like, punches it apparently in some way that makes all these alarms go off, makes tables fall and everything.
Oh, yeah, I was so confused by that.
It didn't damage the wall at all. The wall's fine. It's just like damaged the screen.
I think the wall got damaged. I don't know.
Not in some of the shots. So
yeah,
it was once again terrible CGI.
I think some of them were
there's only like one table that falls and like
that was confusing. And like one bit of like ceiling fell down and like nothing else happened. They just all like what?
And once again, we'll get into what you said. And then what's the group called?
I forget what they're called.
This villain group. Members of them are there for some reason. Yeah. They don't do anything.
They look like they were holding cameras, maybe trying to record. I don't understand. Why do they have to be wearing masks? Yeah. If they're trying to get something.
And then they immediately just like run away. It's not like they were trying to they're trying to like turn her into the bad guys or whatever, but like let her know that they're doing it or whatever.
Yeah, which is weird.
And then on top of that, I'm guessing DDO or whatever,
The DODC,
right, are there.
Yeah,
and they just like show up
with like, nobody, like no sign of anybody calling them.
And on top of that, like they haven't in the show. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they really haven't been a part at all.
Nope.
like some sort of semblance of story together.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, all right, now it's time to tie this into everything. So we need the DODC there to like show that this is the group that's going against the heroes and everything. It's like, what? Like, and then on top of that, like, so she goes all Savage Shield, but then she really doesn't do anything. She just kind of like runs through a wall, and then she's like,
I don't understand.
And then like they all like point these weapons at her, and she's like, "Oh, I should probably stop."
By the way,
either go full Savage Shield or don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's this in between thing? It's like where she can't hurt anyone because we don't want her to do too much. Because, like I said, there can't be consequences for her apparently.
Yep.
And once again, there's none. She just like goes out there and instead of like, why not actually make her do something that hurts somebody, that destroys property, like we said. Oh, the whole line about leaving her card or whatever, hated that. It was like, yeah, that's what this whole thing is. You can do whatever the heck you want and apparently leave a card and it's okay. And now apparently this whole thing's going to happen and that's not going to be the case because he's actually going to have people coming after her because of whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally...
if I may,
horrible storytelling.
Yeah, just these. First off, these bad guys, the worst job you could ever do of trying to take someone out. Must say, first things first, you send in this horrible like wrecking crew group trying to take her blood, and that failed. Then you send in this man to take her blood, but it was very obvious. Yeah. I don't know how she didn't see it.
Blinded by love.
Then you do this whole thing at her ceremony or whatever it is of like exposing her and then wanting to get her angry and all this. And if you're going to have people record her, actually have them look like normal people, not with these masks and stuff and obvious bad guys and all that. Like, no, actually have them be people. It would have had so much more weight if it was actual people that she was going after that we could like see and like actually have us think that there was actual people that she was going after.
Yeah,
but no.
So, and then finishing out, I just want to talk about my expectations for the next episode.
Terrible.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to be good, but like I think it's clearly obvious, right? They have her blood.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to get out of whatever legal trouble that they're trying to get her in. And then they're gonna like the big reveal. This dude with the scars is evil.
Yeah,
shocker. And then for the finale, some dude's gonna have super strength because of the blood that they got, and boom, they're gonna fight. Wow, probably gonna be incredible. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying. Yeah. So we've got a lot to discuss about this next week, and probably a lot more if we want to do a little something that I have an idea for. But moving on.
All right, and let's go on to Andor.
Yes,
Andor episode 5. Thoughts?
Not the best episode, but don't know. Probably could be the worst in my opinion. I really did. I thought it was kind of interesting to see a little of the tension between Andor and the group. I thought that was kind of interesting and all that stuff. I loved a lot of the scenes with the Imperials inside the dam.
Yeah,
that was pretty interesting in my opinion. Like especially the whole.
What's the guy's name? Lieutenant.
I don't know.
He did a great job.
He did a really good job. I love the scene where they're asking for basically just to have essential crew members inside and how he just played them. I love that scene. That's a great scene.
Yep.
Of course, have your favorite characters. I forget his name. Cillin, I think.
Anyway, yeah.
First off, blue milk returns.
Let's go.
But cereal?
It's not cereal. It's milk.
It looks like a different version of Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine.
Or Twix, whatever. But yeah, yeah. I don't know if I don't know. I can't really decide if I like that scene. I need more time to process it. I can't really decide if I like the whole talk between him and his mother, or I'm assuming it's his mother. But what did you think? He's your favorite character.
Yeah, well, to say what I think, I'll say a little generalization of the whole episode. There was a lot of talking in this episode.
There was.
And as I've said, I really enjoyed this show because of how little talking there was and how they just showed you stuff. And it was like essential things that need to be said being said. In this episode, that was not the case. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of talking, a lot of useless talking.
There was a lot.
Some of it was very necessary and very good.
Yeah.
But the dialogue was just like every scene so much.
Which is why I say it's not the best episode.
The scenes with that character I really enjoyed. They were some of my favorite scenes. Once again, the portrayal of him just so well done, and just it was like I didn't really care about what was going because it's just going so slow.
Yeah,
you know,
I can agree.
But at the same time, the relationship that they're showing between him and his mother, that they showed, like I said, so well previously, just the evolution of it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, that part was really good. And I saw, his characters, I'm still very interested where they're going. It was kind of annoying that it kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't say not super nowhere.
There's clearly like a culmination episode in the next one. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff's going to happen.
Well, there's definitely going to be a lot of stuff happening in this next episode. So I'm excited for it. Yep. One thing I will say about that character, I'm just going to call him our corporate officer, because apparently that's what they're called. This corporate officer, I believe what they're going to be doing is he is actually going to go hunt for Andor.
Right, that's what it looked like they were leading up to.
That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, don't know. But I thought I did like the one scene with our one Siren. Okay.
Cyril.
Did they ever? Cyril. Did they ever mention his name?
His mother says it a couple times.
Well, no, like before in the previous episodes.
Not that I recall.
Yeah, I don't remember them. I'm pretty sure I would have remembered something like that. That's such a unique name for this type of character. So I did like a lot of the Imperial scenes, especially at the dam with our lieutenant guy. I thought it was kind of nice to see about how our one Imperial officer, I forget her name.
Yeah.
I loved that scene with this one guy, with her like second in command being like, no, these are too random to be random.
Dedra.
Yeah, Dedra. And then she's like, yeah, 2 more each. Let's do this. Yeah. They didn't say that, but I liked it. I do agree. A lot of the dialogue, there was some dialogue choices that could not have been there. Like the one scene where after the TIE fighter, the kid like walks up and says like, a surprise from above is not as surprising as an attack from the ground.
So that guy's character, he's just so predictable.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
It is,
and like just the change in tone of his character from the previous episodes.
I don't know if that was like intentional or if that was just.
Yeah, I kind of tell that there was supposed to be like a little more interaction that they had to take out between him and Andor.
Yeah,
but like him going from I don't know if I trust this guy to suddenly being like, I'll tell you my whole manifesto and just like talk at you.
Yeah, I don't know if that was it. Maybe it's just to show that this character is a little more trusting than the other characters. Maybe.
Right.
But other than that, I will say, no, I don't know if I can like the what's her name, the leader. I still don't know if I like her because she's just there. You don't really have much time.
Yeah, we didn't get too much more into. I think her name's Val.
Yeah, Val. Yeah, other than the fact that she's the leader and she's not going to be there when this whole thing happens, which is kind of weird to me. I don't know if she's just going to secure the checkpoint.
I am definitely interested in what the 2 women are doing.
Yeah. I did have a thought occur to me, but we'll get into theories about it a little later on here. But I did love the TIE fighter scene.
Yeah.
Before our one guy said that line.
Yeah.
I love that TIE fighter scene. It just shows how like small they are. compared to the Empire. And it's like, whoa, that is terrifying.
Yeah, and it looked gorgeous.
It did. I loved it. And they kind of tricked you at the start of it because they're like, oh, it's not coming, and then the TIE fighter just comes behind the mountain and just like comes.
They said it's coming back.
No, well, they said, I don't think so, or something like that. Like they said, they weren't sure if it was coming back or not.
I was sure it was.
Yeah, I was sure it was.
I felt like they were too.
I was sure it was too, but I did kind of like the direction it was going. Like they could have totally like fooled you and been like, no, it's not coming. They just were overworked.
I loved it, but
and I like how quickly they had to hide the guns and all that. That was fun.
No.
Other than that, what else am I forgetting?
The other Imperial officer that's like button heads with her, we got to see that he's, doing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked that scene.
That was a good scene.
He was like talking like them.
Just shows like how much more he is a part of the Imperial. And it's like this one guy is just like... I loved that whole conversation between the two.
Yeah, he's been, a character we've really liked this whole time. And I think how you said how much he's just like in doing what the Imperial tells him to, right? Like, I'm supposed to be, boosting my sector, whatever they do.
His 6 sectors plus her 2 sectors.
And he's just doing that, right? And yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused where they're going with his character. Like, I can't tell if he's going to be a bigger part or not later on.
Yeah.
Like if they're just like, this is who he is. He's part of the Empire, and that's showing what the Empire is doing, or if he's like going to have bigger role in the future. I don't think so, but
I think he is actually, because first off, remember the Star Path unit is still with him. Like he still has the Star Path unit. The Star Path unit is very important to our Dedra character, or whatever her name. Dedra. And so I'm assuming there might be a little either Andor is going to come back home, fight him plus her, or whatever. I don't know. That's my assumption. Don't know.
Okay.
Because we still have our couple characters on that planet that we still have nothing know what's going on with them.
Yep.
So who knows? Last little concern I have about this episode was the way they signaled the lieutenant. Anybody could see that.
Well, I think that was like the point. Like he was going to get people off that, so he was the one up there.
Yeah, I agree. Like there was. Did he say there was going to be an early clock off? Whatever.
I don't know. I feel like when he came to the camp and was like talking to them, he mentioned something about how he would be the only one up there.
Yeah.
But I don't remember for sure. He didn't, in this episode, there was no mention of that. I guess I'll get into a couple things that I disliked and then something I really liked.
Okay.
Mon Mothma. The first scene with her and her daughter or whatnot. I don't get the point of that scene.
I don't get it either. I don't know if that's just to show like where Mon Mothma is like going. Like she's going to be disconnected from her family.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming, but I still don't.
Okay, they're probably trying to show like how like stuff's strenuous with her family because she's trying to juggle her counts.
Her senatorial
duties and rebellious duties,
plus her family stuff and all that.
So that's why I didn't like the scene. I didn't pick that up at all. I was just like, why?
I would agree. It was hard to pick up.
I don't know if the daughter I don't know if it's the way it's acted, what she had to say, but like it just didn't feel real.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially because we haven't met her daughter yet.
Nope, this is the first time.
So like I had no idea she had a daughter.
Same.
And then we had like this interaction last time with her husband, and I was like, okay, I wasn't real. As I said last time, I wasn't like super into it, but I was getting what they were trying to do. Then they just like thrust this daughter into the dynamic. Once again, I really liked her and her husband's interact. Like I was still kind of behind that, but like her daughters and her interaction just made no sense.
I agree.
And I think because of that, like it's the first time you introduce this character, like you gotta give me like some back, like something that tells me something about her daughter. Maybe, except for the fact, like the only thing that I learned about her daughter and her is like their relationship is tense.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all I was supposed to know, but that's all I got.
I think what they should have done was maybe add her in one of the previous episodes just to kind of tell us, oh, she has a daughter.
Right.
just to give us a little more background
but
to
then
that.
Something actually, we'll get the other scene with them riding in the car. Once again, not to the point of that scene.
I don't know if that was another hint as to what her husband knows. Don't know. I don't know either. Like, I was really confused by that scene.
I think it was supposed to, be like, oh, what does her husband know, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I think her husband's going to play a big part in it.
And either he's like this mad genius that's playing dumb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, really, we're going to play that card? Like,
or
I'm not a big fan of that storytelling. Or he's just like curious, you know?
But maybe it's just to show more family tension.
I just like the way it went. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, what? And then it never finished, right? Like, he just like take the causeway.
Take the causeway.
You know, whatever he said.
Take the causeway.
Whatever he said.
The express lane.
Express lane. And then that was like it. Like, it just like didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
The other scene on Coruscant with our Luthen,
favorite character here.
So good, and we got to see. Who I think is his assistant, and maybe felt like it might have been more than that.
Yeah,
in that scene.
Don't know what
her. Man, I liked her.
She is great.
She did fantastic, and their like relationship like that we actually felt in the scenes with like Mon Mothma and her family. Like, I just was confused, but in that scene, like immediately you felt the tension, you felt his nervousness, her nervousness, and how they deal with that, and then how their relationship is, and wow. So well done.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Still,
and such a good scene to end on too.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, there was so much talking in the scene. I kind of was like, getting bored with this whole them going to their whole. I was like, get over with this whole mission, right? Like, this is getting boring. But then it just built the tension at the end. Really good ending to the episode for how like not boring, but like. Drug out it was.
Yeah. And I think it would, like, for this type of episode, perfect ending scene. Yeah. Perfect. Loved it. Shows how much we love Luthen. Like, he is a great character. Still love that he is just the owner of this shop.
I love that line. If you polish some coins, that would actually help.
That's great. I will say this though. So I watched it 2 times, one without you and one with you. I will say this. I didn't really quite catch on what they were saying at the ending scene with Luthen, just because I was so dead tired when I was watching it. So I'm glad I rewatched it and I noticed what they were doing. And I was like, that is really good. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, great.
So in one scene where we saw our good old, I forgot his name already.
Sicilian.
Cecil.
We'll call him Cecil until we get his name down.
Anyways, there were some action figures. You want to talk about those?
Oh, yes. Oh, this is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. It's funny to me. I don't know why it is, but it's so funny. So there are some 2 action figures. You'll notice by the color of them, they're white. They are Stormtrooper action figures that I have personally seen on store shelves. And it's so funny to think about. Yeah. It's just like, first off, why would he have those?
He was a big fan of the Empire as a kid. I like it.
It's just so funny. I love that.
That's cool. That is cool. Yeah, I couldn't tell what they were, but that is hilarious.
Of course, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, I am like 99% sure I am right on that. Like, they look so like Imperial Stormtroopers that I have seen on store shelves.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, they probably were. All right. That's all I got for Andor.
For upcoming on Andor.
So next episode, I think, we're going to finally get the little culmination of them doing their thing.
I think a lot's going to happen in
then
this.
With Dedra, she's probably going to find whatever she's looking for, and that's going to have something to do with what they're doing, and that's going to culminate her story.
Yeah.
And then Cecil dude is going to get, his uncle's going to tell him whatever the heck. And so I think we're going to get where his story's going. So lots going to happen. And definitely interested and not sure how this is gonna affect Mon Mothma and why am I blanking on his name? Luthen. But they have set it up really well. We know it can affect them very badly.
Yeah.
So excited about that.
So if I may, first off, Luthen and Mon Mothma, I'm not sure what they're doing with them. Not exactly sure. Seeing these scenes, they could do almost anything with them. Like, there's so much they could do with them. But with our good, faithful Cecil, I think what he's going to be doing is he's just going to leave leave his mother and just go try and find Andor.
Bounty hunter.
Yeah, basically. He might go to like the Imperial, to that one Imperial place on Coruscant, and meet up with one of them, maybe Dedra.
Yeah,
which is where we'll get our that stuff. And because he knows, since he was there with the Starpath unit, Dedra might recruit him to go get it, and they'll go after Andor and all this stuff.
Okay.
So that's what I think. Now, second thing, who's on the space shuttle? I forgot to mention that. Who's on the space shuttle? That
somebody from Coruscant.
Yeah. I was hearing rumors that it could be a certain character, Director Krennic, which wouldn't really make much sense.
Maybe it's Admiral Akbar.
No.
It's a trap.
I don't think it's Director Krennic, though it would be kind of interesting.
What's that other guy who is like a uppity in the Empire?
The dude, the elderly, the older gentleman who leads the small group of healthcare providers.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Who are you talking about?
Because we haven't met him in this show.
Oh, Admiral Tarkin.
Tarkin? No, that's that guy.
Yeah, Tarkin wouldn't come to this. I don't think he would come to this small little area. No, he might. Also, another thing we also don't know. We don't know who's in charge of this planet.
What do you mean?
Like, we don't know which one of these Imperial healthcare providers.
Oh, that's true.
Is in charge of this planet. So we don't know who's going.
Yeah, that's true.
So it could be, honestly, one of the two. Like, it could be our one favorite Imperial officer going there, which would be so cool to see him come in.
I'd love him talking to the lieutenant guy.
Oh,
that's the rebel. I'd get my heart pumping. Oh my god! You're like, because he's shrewd.
Yeah, and not only that, if it is him, this could like bring in some things of him. Like, whoa. There could actually be a big rebellion out there and stuff, which could actually be interesting. We'll finally see some stories connecting in this next episode, I think. It could be him. I don't think it would be Dedra because she's too busy on finding the figuring out the whole rebellion thing, plus the Starpath unit that right now she has given up on because she has no access to it.
Yep.
So she's just focusing on the rebellion. Again, I don't think it's Director Krennic.
Yeah, I would.
It wouldn't surprise me that much if it was.
It surprised me.
Yeah, it's just for this type of show and for that type of character, I don't think Director Krennic would be in it.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it. So moving on to our expectations. You want to start with Tales of the Jedi or World?
All right, Tales of the Jedi.
All right, Tales of the Jedi.
Hey, you said it. I speak it. Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi. I'm so excited for. I believe I mentioned this before. It is going to be more like very little talking in this show, more action packed and all that stuff. I'm very excited to see what they do with it, where they go with it, what little stories they'll talk about and stuff. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to love it. We're going to see Captain Rex again. We're going to see a young Qui-Gon Jinn, which will be kind of interesting, which I think Liam Neeson's son is playing, or Liam Neeson is playing. Oh. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's his son playing him, so which would be kind of interesting, which would be nice. But other than that, any questions? By the way, Count Dooku is so cool. just his fighting in it.
Oh man, I love his fighting style.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for it. Questions. So, do you think we're going to get like one episode at each kind of stage in their life or their journey?
I think it's going to be like, so let me tell you this by explaining kind of like what they're going to do. I've kind of figured out how they're going to do Ahsoka's. So they're going to have one episode before she joined the Jedi Order when she was very, very young. So we'll meet her mother and meet some people who knew her, which will be kind of interesting. I would like to kind of meet her mother. Don't say anything. Then we're going to get an episode in where she is going to be training. We're going to get a training episode. Like Anakin is going to be training her. Will she be fighting in that episode? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do in that episode. All I know is Captain Rex is in it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Training.
You're training. Put your hand out like you're using the Force.
That's how you train as a Jedi. You reach out and feel.
Well, don't touch my face when you're doing that. Then we're going to get an episode after the Clone Wars.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of interesting to see that last episode of her story. I'm so excited.
Then are we doing like 3 of one, then 3 of the other? Is it one?
I don't know what they're doing.
Is it like 2 and then 1 and then 2 and then 2 and then...
That's weird. I think they might do like 3 and then 3. Not sure. I still have no idea what they're going to do with Count Dooku's story. Like, I have no idea because I don't know much about Count Dooku, like what his backstory is and all that. So I'm very curious of what they're going to do with him. I'm so excited for his story. Other than that, I think we might get... Oh, man, I'm just so excited to see him as a Jedi. Like, it'll be an interesting story. Any other questions for this Tales of the Jedi?
Don't think so.
Well, come on, hurry it up.
I'm definitely Count Dooku, like seeing. I hope we get a scene like seeing the struggle inside of him, and seeing him lean towards the dark side.
Yeah, it's gonna be so interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, do you think we'll see a good old Emperor Palpatine?
I would lean towards we're not going to see Emperor Palpatine, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I think we are, just because
Have we ever seen an animated Emperor Palpatine?
Yeah. He fought Darth Maul.
He fought Darth Maul?
Yeah. At the whole end of when Obi-Wan comes to Mandalore to save Duchess Satine, Duchess dies, Obi-Wan leaves. Darth Sidious comes, fights Darth Maul and Savage Opress. Savage dies, and he's like, I have much more plot for you. Which is kind of funny. I don't know.
Anything else?
Other than, I'm really excited for this. Like, we're getting 6 episodes, gonna have some with 2 characters that we both love, and so excited. Hopefully they don't butcher them, which I don't think they will, because this is all directed by Dave Filoni,
right?
And he does a pretty good job in the whole Clone Wars.
Sometimes.
Okay, he did a good job with Ahsoka.
Yeah. All right. So ready to go into Werewolf by Night?
Yeah, let's do Werewolf by Night.
All right. So I was hoping we'd get a little more sneak peeks and stuff before this episode, but no. But I did do my research. I'm pretty excited still. So excited to see how they, it's called Werewolf by Night, but I'm definitely more excited to see how Elsa Bloodstone's character is developed. Werewolf by Night's character should be fun as well. I feel like it's gonna Werewolf by Night. His character, right? It seems that he's going to be, this creature that some people know that he's a werewolf, some people don't, but he's gonna he's gonna have to change into werewolf in the middle of it, and then people who thought they were his friends and stuff are gonna turn on him and whatnot. Ooh. And that story just it's gonna be good, right? You can't really mess that up too much unless you just make his character unlikable, and then when his friends leave him, you're still it's unlikable, right?
I don't know. Have you seen She-Hulk?
But Elsa's character, because she's gonna be the daughter of the person putting this whole thing on. Mm-hmm. She's gonna be the one we know is gonna get the Bloodstone by the end. So they're going to have to really do her character well, or else you're going to just be like, yeah, we knew that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So very, very interested in how they do her character. There's a scene where she's clearly afraid of the werewolf. So I'm very excited to see if she's going to be friends with him, be totally following his lead or whatnot, and then he's going to change and she's going to be what? I'm a monster hunter. I have to like take this thing down
Yeah.
type of thing. And then you're going to get this whole tension. Or if she's more knowledge. Like, I'm very interested to see if her characters basically like are, because she's the daughter of a Bloodstone, like how knowledgeable she is about the monster world. She could like they could completely change her backstory where she knows nothing, is kind of thrust into this, right?
Yeah.
Which would be very interesting as well. I would, I'd kind of hope that they keep her backstory, because I really like the fact, like, we haven't really gotten too many like tragic backstories like that, where like, because she was basically forced to become a great monster hunter by her father. And we've gotten that a little bit with some male characters. We definitely have not gotten that with female characters. So I'd be very interested to see how they play that. If they changed it, that's okay. Now, the other thing I'm very excited to see is this is our first special that's going to be like an introduction of characters in one thing that's setting up stuff very far in the future. If this goes well, I'd be very excited to see them do this with more characters instead of the whole season thing, because they're kind of sucking at that.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely get behind more of this rather than having to sit through 9 episodes of She-Hulk.
If I may, real fast, I did hear rumors that Marvel had announced that they had talked about apparently stopping their whole shows.
There are rumors going around about that. Don't know how founded they are. I think it definitely does hinge kind of on how, because like we know the holiday special's coming, which will be another special, but Guardians of the Galaxy always has a holiday special, so it's not like crazy new thing. Whereas if this is done well, I do think they will tend that way. If it does not, yes, I think that they are losing a lot of money on the shows, but they have enough money to go around, and their movies will make them enough money. It'll be fine. They just need to actually make good shows so that they make money. But I do think they will tend towards the special, since it's a lot cheaper to do if Werewolf by Night is a hit.
Yeah.
I don't want them to do it with like characters that we already are introduced. Like, I don't want like the next season of Moon Knight to suddenly be a special. That'd be ridiculous. No. Like, yeah, we can have specials here and there, but a character like that's established, we can tell a story now. But like introducing characters, I think it's totally fine to do it in a shorter format. All right, other things. I'm very interested to see what other characters we get, what other supernatural characters we get. Like I said, we know we're going to get Man-Thing. Now, where he can tie into a lot of stuff. We know that we've been told, there's been rumors about Doctor Doom, of course.
Oh, yeah.
There's also been confirmed that Riri Williams and Armor Wars is going to be about technology and magic. Combining the best of both worlds, you might say.
If I may, real fast.
1 second.
Okay.
Let me finish this thought. Doctor Doom, of course, is technology and magic combining. So there's been a lot of rumor about him being in Armor Wars. Man-Thing is technology, science, magic combined. So, very interested to see how, like, if he's just this, little cameo thing, or if he plays a bigger role, and it's kind of leading into the Midnight Suns and stuff being a combination of technology and magic.
Yes. But is Doctor Doom, I know he's technology and magic
combined, the best of both worlds,
but is he supernatural? Technology and magic, I'm assuming.
As much as magic is supernatural.
Okay. I just didn't know if he was like part of those MCU. Like if he was like
I would not put him in the same sphere as
like Moon Knight,
but I would put him in the same sphere as Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange teams up with the Midnight Suns a lot. So in that roundabout way, I would put him in the same sphere, but he's definitely on the outskirts of it.
Okay, I was just curious. Didn't know if like he did supernatural.
No, I don't think he's showing up in Werewolf by Night by any stretch.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I'm very interested in is how much they lean into the classic horror genre with the black and white, with the American monsters and all that. Once again, we could get other MCU monsters, like I said, but we could also get little cameos to just American monsters, which I'm very interested to see what we get there. if we're gonna get a Frankenstein, if we're gonna get a
vampire.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a Dracula reference because Dracula's a very prominent figure in the MCU as well. And there's a scene that looks like maybe something rising out of a coffin, so it could be a Dracula reference. And then if we're gonna get like mummies, what all we're gonna get, I'm very, very excited for. And then once again, how it impacts the rest of the MCU. If this is, I think we'll know afterwards how much it's setting up the Midnight Suns. If like Midnight Suns are coming soonish, or if that's definitely something they still have a lot to develop in. So, that's all I got. You got questions?
No, I've got nothing because, like I said, I kind of want to keep Werewolf by Night kind of on the down low because I really am excited for this. I'm excited for this special because, I'm excited for my Werewolf by Night. This is something I've been looking forward to for a long time.
So next week we'll have our little reaction to it. That'll be a lot of what next week's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we'll move into upcoming unless you got anything else to talk about.
No. Let's.
I guess we can quickly get upcoming for back and forth out of the way. So next week, we got finale episode of She-Hulk. Yay!
Oh, excited!
Andor episode 6. Yay! And Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
So
Werewolf by Night is next week.
Next week.
Okay.
The 6th.
So we definitely have a lot to talk about. 13th. There is something I do want to add on for our last episode of She-Hulk is there will be a little talk that I personally want to talk about is how to just, make a good story out of a show.
Because we have so much to talk about next week, I don't know, but I definitely want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, that is something, if we have enough time for it next week. Make it a little short.
We don't necessarily have to talk about this on this, but compare it to Andor.
So I like it. That's what we'll do.
Look at this character. Look at this character. Look at how these episodes... We don't have to do it right here.
Yeah, we're not doing it right now.
So... let's move into upcoming for Star Wars.
All right. So, like we said, Tales of the Jedi is coming out this month. We've already talked mostly about that. Still haven't gotten anything new about the Bad Batch, or Mandalorian season 3. I looked. There is nothing new about them. It is so dumb. I think it's just because of Andor, how many episodes of Andor, and because of Tales of the Jedi being so focused on and stuff like that we're not really getting anything else new. But it wouldn't surprise me if next week we'll be getting a lot of stuff from them. So keep your eyes open for that. Moving on to Marvel.
Okay. All right. So Marvel, it's a good thing I got this quick here because we got something big.
Uh-oh.
Something real big.
Uh-oh. It's not Werewolf by Night, is it?
No. But
hold on, let me guess. It is Marvel.
Yeah. So, y'all probably saw that Ryan Reynolds made a couple videos.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
But something even bigger than that happened.
Wait, bigger than Deadpool?
Yeah.
So something completely different.
Yeah.
Then tell me.
Wakanda Forever got a new trailer. And boy, did it give everything away.
Did it to say who's the new Black Panther?
Yeah. We learned who the new Black Panther is. We also learned that there's another Black Panther.
Wait, what?
Hanging around. Unless it's the same one and it looks different. I don't know. I haven't been able to, zoom in and enhance enough to tell. But...
Zoom in, enhance, unpixelate.
Right. So, yeah. That's crazy. I guess what do you like? It gave. I'm pretty sure I can tell you the whole story. That's why I hate trailers. But what do you want to know?
Well, I really don't want to know anything because this is another movie that I'm really excited for. Because
I'll tell you a couple of things that I just liked and disliked. That so Namor.
Well, okay.
And a couple of things will help you with the movie once you watch it. They change a lot of stuff about Atlantis. They're definitely trying to, like I said months ago, they try to deviate DC from Marvel. They don't want to make Namor feel like Aquaman. So they're changing a lot of his lore. So they changed the name of Atlantis.
To what?
Some Aztec word I can't pronounce, but it's just...
Is it Azalanonoch?
It's like...
I don't know. I'm just spitting out random
words. It starts with a T. Tenatuat or something like that.
I would never have gotten that.
And it's basically this Aztec city that is basically Atlantis, just Aztec origins. And so that explains how he is like this Aztec god or whatever deity, and how she gets to try stuff. But when we get to see a lot of his movement and stuff, the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't know if I like this or not, because it's very unique. Watching it, I'm pretty sure I love it. So very excited to see, because if they do it wrong, it's going to be it's definitely something that's just too much.
Okay.
And feel cheesy. Now, I personally really liked it, and there's some beautiful shots with him. There's this one shot with his reflection. I don't want to give it away, but you can just see his reflection. So well done. Okay. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Better than She-Hulk reflection.
Yeah, it actually looked like him. All right. So I'm definitely excited about Namor. I'm kind of worried with his backstory that could get really flashbacky and convoluted.
Oh my goodness. Listen, flashbacks have been ruined for me by Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
Shang-Chi much? Eternals much?
Oh yeah, and them. Oh my goodness.
But I hope they don't. I hope it tells a good story with him. But there's clearly a relationship, like Atlantis knows about Wakanda and Wakanda knows about Atlantis type of thing. Once again, that's either going to have to be very flashbacky and convoluted, or they're going to have to do a really good job of explaining it without that. And I really hope they take that path instead of the flashback path.
Yeah, I think they are going to go to the flashback path because it's just the easiest path for them.
I know, but it's not good storytelling.
No, I know.
It's cheap storytelling.
Down.
All right,
we'll get through this together.
That is very interesting. Now, one other thing I'm worried about. There's this character who has been confirmed to be a part of an elite fighting force from Wakanda. Now, I'm totally fine with that. Adding this, I'm trying to think of their name, Night Angels or some Blue Angels, Black Angels, something Angels. I can't remember exactly.
They just have every color angels.
I don't remember. But anyways, in the comics, there's this, the elite of the elite, right? We already got introduced to the Dora Milaje, and that's what they are.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with there being another one, but you're going to have an explanation of why now they didn't exist at all. Like, why are they suddenly existing? Were they this covert operation that, like, they just didn't talk about at all the whole movie, and T'Challa didn't have to talk about it at all, and now suddenly they're being in it? Now, there are ways they can explain it away. With them being, they are opening their borders and whatnot, and so they need this.
Yeah.
But if they don't do a good job of that, that's another. There's just a lot of things that they're going to be towing the line on if they do that wrong. Yeah. On top of that, the scenes that we see this character in, they seem to be towing the line of being loyal or disloyal to Wakanda themselves. So if you're going to throw all that into this character, once again, it could get very convoluted. And just saying, I'm worried. I don't think it's going to be. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but I'm worried that it could not be good. Now, another thing, we got to see Riri Williams. We got to see Ironheart in action. Sort of in action.
Oh dear! Have we? So is Ironheart a confirmed, like, completely new character?
What do you mean?
Like, this is going to be someone completely new.
Like, has not been in the MCU?
Yeah, like we've never seen them before.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, because I had some suspicion. I had some suspicions earlier about who could be Ironheart and all that, and I was thinking, could it actually be someone from Wakanda?
Well, it is Riri Williams who is from Wakanda.
Okay, like
seemingly, or at least has a connection.
I was just curious that maybe if this Riri Williams was like someone who they just kind of merged into made into a different character.
No, it seems that it's this character that has some connection to Wakanda, or is a friend of Shuri's, and she's going to school at Columbia, and then she's trying to use vibranium to create stuff, and so then that leads to... I don't want to give the whole story away, but it seems like that leads to her somehow getting back to Wakanda and then creating her Iron Man.
Okay.
But we got to see it.
Okay, that scares me.
Some aspects of it I absolutely love, but I do have a problem with it. Do you want to know my problem with it, or do you want to just go?
No, let's just go.
Right.
I don't want to know because that's gonna make me very worried. I'm already worried enough as it is.
And then we got to see it. All right, and then there's one thing that just was just so poorly done for a trailer. Is they told the trailer too linearly.
Oh.
Where you could totally tell that there's some characters, not to go into detail here, but there's some characters that do not have any part in the second half of the trailer, which kind of tells me, based on what the trailer says, those characters clearly are going to die. And you can't do that in a trailer. You can't just give away whether characters are going to die in the movie. That's just something, trailer 101.
Yeah.
You can't give that away. And, of course, I could be completely wrong. They could have bamboozled me. But I'm pretty sure it completely gave something away, and I was so mad.
They could pull a Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, they could. Make a bad movie. I'm confused what you said.
Make it where every single character looks like they died, but they don't.
Oh, sure. Sure, they could do that. I really hope they don't.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, we do get up close. Look at Black Panther. We know exactly who it is. And, anything you want to know about that?
Well, so, no.
Not even just how they look?
I'm assuming it's a completely new Black Panther suit. Yeah. Okay. But does it have some, symbol of, the old Black Panther in any way? I know, it's Black Panther. It's
definitely taken aspects of Black Panther suits that we've seen throughout MCU and put them together.
Okay. Just curious about that. I'm just wondering if they would do something like that in memory of our fallen comrade.
Yep. It also clearly showed that Atlanteans have vibranium.
Oh.
Which is very interesting.
Now, so what, a vibranium meteorite came down, broke apart, and...
Possibly. We don't know. But I think that will go into how Wakanda and Atlantis are connected in the past.
Okay. Interesting.
Anything else?
I legitimately have nothing else to say because I don't want you to ruin this for me.
All right, well, I guess that's kind of all we have time for. We're upcoming for Marvel.
Yep.
So we'll see y'all next week.
Don't put yourselves inside a box.